Imagine this. You spend your entire life working. 40, maybe 45 years of early mornings, late nights, and paying your taxes like a responsible citizen. Then the day finally comes. Retirement. You sit back, take a deep breath, and wait for that pension check to show up. And it never comes. Not because you did not earn it, not because you did not pay into the system for decades, but because the money simply is not there anymore. It sounds like a dystopian nightmare, right? But here's the thing. This is not a movie. This is the direction governments around the world are quietly heading. And the reason most people have never heard about it is simple. Nobody in power wants to talk about it. We are sitting on a $400 trillion funding gap. That is not a typo. $400 trillion. For perspective, the entire global economy produces about $100 trillion a year. That means this crisis is roughly 4 times bigger than global GDP, and the number keeps growing. This is the global pension crisis. Today, we will break down where it came from, which countries are already in trouble, what options exist, what solutions actually work, and most importantly, what this means for your financial future. And if you are new here and you enjoy clear explanations about money and the global economy, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We post content like this every week, and it is the kind of financial reality most people never learned in school. All right, let us get into it. So how did we end up here? The contrast between the past and today is honestly shocking. Back in the 1950s in the United States, there were about 16 workers contributing to the pension system for every retiree collecting from it. 16 to 1. The math was easy, and the system worked smoothly. Fast forward to today, and that ratio has collapsed to roughly 3 workers per retiree, and it is still falling. 2 massive demographic forces hit the pension system at the same time. First, people started living much longer. Better medicine, better healthcare, and better living conditions extended life expectancy dramatically. Amazing news for humanity, but difficult for pension systems designed when many people did not live far beyond their 60s. The second force was declining birth rates. Families became smaller and fewer children were born. Fewer babies today means fewer workers paying into the system decades from now. The result is a major demographic shift. By 2050, 1 in 6 people on the planet will be over the age of 65. Today, the number is about 1 in 11. That change alone reshapes the entire economic structure of society. Now let us look at some specific countries, because each one tells a slightly different version of the same story. Start with the United States. Social Security operates on a pay-as-you-go model, where current workers fund current retirees. In 1945, there were around 42 workers supporting each Social Security beneficiary. Today, that number has dropped to about 2.7. According to Social Security trustees, the reserve fund could be depleted by 2035. After that point, current law would require benefits to be reduced by roughly 20 to 25%. That is not speculation. It is already written into the system. Every economist and policymaker knows this problem exists. But raising the retirement age or cutting benefits is politically risky, so decisions keep getting delayed. Japan is already living with this reality. Nearly 30% of Japan's population is over the age of 65, the highest among major economies. The government has encouraged older citizens to work longer and stay active in the workforce, yet the pension system still struggles under the pressure. With extremely low birth rates and limited immigration, Japan faces one of the toughest demographic challenges in the world. France experienced a different version of the same issue. In 2023, the government attempted to raise the retirement age from 62 to 64, just a 2-year increase. The reaction was intense. Millions protested, nationwide strikes erupted, and the country experienced months of disruption. The reform eventually passed, but it came at enormous political cost. And here is the surprising part. Even that change was relatively modest compared to what long-term financial projections suggest is necessary. China presents another major challenge. Decades of the one-child policy limited population growth, and now the country is aging rapidly. China is growing older before it has fully developed the wealth and retirement infrastructure that many Western countries built earlier. Large portions of the population, especially in rural areas, have limited pension coverage. This means hundreds of millions of people could face retirement with very little financial support. The government is trying to respond by encouraging larger families and discussing later retirement ages. But demographic trends take decades to change. So what can governments actually do about this? In reality, there are about 5 main options, and none of them are easy. The first option is raising the retirement age. If people live longer, they work longer. Logically, it makes sense, but as France showed, it can trigger major political backlash. The second option is reducing pension benefits. This lowers the burden on the system but breaks promises made to retirees who planned their lives around those payments. For many seniors, this could mean financial hardship. The third option is raising taxes on current workers to bring more money into the system. But excessively high taxes can drive talented young professionals to leave for other countries, which can make the problem worse. The fourth option is privatizing pensions and shifting responsibility to individual investment accounts. Chile experimented with this system for decades. Unfortunately, many people saved too little or made poor investment choices, leaving them with insufficient retirement income. Chile has since begun reversing parts of that policy. The fifth option is mandatory savings programs like Australia's superannuation system. Employers contribute a portion of each employee's salary into personal retirement accounts. The system works reasonably well, but it requires careful design to prevent widening the gap between high and low-income workers. None of these options are perfect. Each one requires difficult trade-offs, which is why many governments postpone major reforms. But there is also some good news. Several countries faced this issue early and implemented systems that are working surprisingly well. Denmark, Germany, and the Netherlands linked retirement age directly to life expectancy. As people live longer, retirement ages gradually increase automatically. This reduces political conflict and keeps the system financially balanced. Sweden introduced what is called a notional defined contribution system. Every contribution workers make is tracked as a personal balance during their career. When retirement arrives, benefits reflect the value of that accumulated balance. If the economy slows, benefits adjust gradually instead of collapsing suddenly. Australia combines mandatory retirement savings with means testing, so those who need the most support receive greater assistance. New Zealand uses a simpler model. A flat pension is provided to everyone over 65 and taxed as regular income. Wealthier retirees pay more tax, while lower-income retirees keep more of the benefit. The common theme across all these systems is honesty. Governments face the demographic math early and built policies that reflect realistic expectations. So what does this mean for you personally? The safest assumption you can make is that government pensions alone may not fully support retirement in the future. That is not pessimism. It is simply the direction the numbers point. The most powerful step you can take is building your own retirement foundation. Start investing early. Even modest contributions made consistently over time can grow into significant wealth through compounding. Do not rely entirely on governments to solve this problem. The countries that managed it successfully did so through proactive planning and transparency. The $400 trillion pension gap is not disappearing anytime soon. But it does not have to become your personal crisis if you start preparing early. This is one of the most important economic challenges unfolding right now, yet many people rarely hear it explained clearly. If this helped you understand the issue better, consider subscribing to the channel. It truly helps us continue making content like this. And before you go, check the description below. We have included resources and tools that can help you start building smarter financial habits today. Thanks for watching. Stay informed, stay ahead, and I will see you in the next one.